Hello, welcome back to Oliver's Greenhouse. It's super cold night tonight. Pitch black, middle of English winter, so it's as cold as you'd expect. We're going for a particular cold spell at the moment. I'd love to hear from any of you other UK growers out there who've got greenhouses outside. This is, as some of you may already know, if you've been tuned into the channel for a long period of time, this is the first year with a greenhouse out in the garden. It still sort of blows my mind that it's actually -5 outside the greenhouse at the moment, but we're still basking in 14.7 degrees centigrade in here and 70.8% relative humidity. So, and outside's -5. So it's yeah, I can almost hear the pound coins falling down the drain at the moment. So it's not really so much of a sort of an update of what's going on in the greenhouse. It's just more of a sort of what's going on. I'd love to hear some comments from any of you other UK growers about how you're dealing with the weather. I mean, earlier in the year, I lined the onset of winter. I lined the whole greenhouse with bubble wrap. Warranted, it's not the triple wall sort of horticultural grade stuff. Although I have found a supplier of that now, and I can get it at a really good price. So before next winter, I'm going to get a big bulk order of this stuff. Measure all the panels out properly and fit it up and number where everything goes, so that next year it's just going to be a much easier process to carry out. One of the quandaries, or one of the things I'd like some advice on from you guys, is how best to insulate the door. The door's a real faff because obviously I still access the greenhouse at minimum twice a day. I come in and out once in the morning, usually once in the evening. So I've sort of got to maintain an access here, but it's very difficult to insulate it because it's full of air gaps. Because obviously you've got it. Not some other greenhouse is going to be different, but mine is a sliding door. So although it's got some draft excluders on the side, there's still an air gap. So I'm just very conscious of the fact that although I've done a really good effort sort of insulating the inside of the greenhouse, I'm concerned that I'm losing a lot of heat through the door. So what I've done was I was just actually snooping around in the office at work today, and I came across, I've got some of this leftover, the 25mm, the big bubble wrap. It was just in one of the, I'd obviously ordered something, I think it was actually when I bought my grow light, which goes on top of my terrarium at work. I think I'm a bit of a squirrel, so I think I spotted it there and just thought, oh, I'll put that away for a rainy day, if I want to sort of like go mental, start rolling around it, wrapped up in bubble wrap in the middle of the office for a bit of a laugh, or posting stuff. I don't know why I kept it, but I did anyway. So I figured what I'm going to do is make sort of like a drape to go across the top of the door with this. So I was thinking about that, and then I thought, well, I might as well bring you guys along for the journey anyway, just to see what I'm going on, what I'm doing, and also to sort of like inspire, to sort of like give me some tips or pointers, or certainly a point of view on how you go about doing it. And this is how I'm going to do it for the meantime. I'm just going to cut it to size and pin it up across the top there. But I'd love to hear what some of your comments are. So don't forget to put something down below. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is utilise some of these alley plugs that I've already got up here to sort of create a seal across the top. I'm going to cut the piece I've got straight, seal it across using these, maybe a little bit of box tape across the top, but it's pretty wet. I mean, the condensation levels in the greenhouse are horrendous at the moment. The orchids seem to really like it. I've got plenty of fans going, moving the air around. I haven't noticed any mould issues yet. The spider mite issues we had on the last year carper, it looks a bit sad now where it's lost quite a few leaves, but the new growth's completely pest free. I've sprayed everything liberally with it and I haven't spotted them on anything else, so hopefully that's brought that under control. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'll cut the top and then use these alley plugs to pin it up, and if I can dry it out enough I might sort of glue it down along one edge, and then I'm going to leave it open in a couple of places. So I'll probably peg it to about here, about this one, and I'll actually sort of like duck to come in, and maybe weight it down at the bottom with something. So I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do yet, so we'll have to just wait and see. This should be relatively simple. All I'm going to do literally is find a row of bubbles and just cut between them so that I've got a straight edge. What I do find is though you kind of zone into it a little bit after a while, and then you end up going off track because you're concentrating so hard on not going off track that you actually end up doing it in the end. Doesn't matter if you hit a few of the bubbles, because obviously this is going to be the leading edge of the door or the door insulation, so it's actually going to get plugged against the, or held against the side of the greenhouse. But we want to make sure we keep as much of those air pockets intact as possible, because of course that's where our insulative property comes from. Now, some of you remember at the beginning of the year we had an issue with slugs. Now what I did was I sealed all the way around the bottom of the greenhouse in an attempt to keep them out. That seems to have worked. I certainly noticed a decline in the amount of orchids which were being eaten by cephalopods, which was good. And what I did was when I actually fitted all the bubble wrap up, I've actually overlapped it so there's a lip all the way around the bottom now where the greenhouse meets the ground. And what I've done is I've used some of the gravel from inside the greenhouse and I've laid that on top to hold it down. So it's really not only helping to increase the level of slug defence, but it's also stopping any sort of drafts or anything coming into the greenhouse, because you've got this like constant sort of like fringe all the way around the inside, and it seems to be doing quite well. Like I said, the hum is what you can hear. That's the heater. The heater I refurbished with my 2 new heating elements I got off eBay and fitted it all myself. Much to my wife's dismay, she just saw an old sort of a cruddy heater which I got really cheap, and because one of the elements had gone, it cracked. So all I did was spend £6 or £7 getting another 2 elements, refitted it, sealed it all up myself, and it's absolutely brilliant. Works a dream. So really good money saved there. What I'm going to do now is just put it up and take it into place. I think this is really going to help, by the way. I think it's going to make a heck of a difference, or a hell of a difference. I really do. It just seems like the natural weak spot. I know certainly in my greenhouse, it's definitely the natural weak spot. There we go. These alley puff things are brilliant. So useful. Also, you can see it's obviously the coldest area, because if I... There was a lot more water there than I thought there was going to be. I'm definitely leaving that in the video. That was amazing. As you can see, it's slightly cooler at this end of the greenhouse. So what happens is that the majority of the humidity or the moisture in the greenhouse accumulates around here and condenses up on the corner of the greenhouse there. What I did was wet beard now. What I did was I went round and sealed any joints up that I could, any possible air gaps I could find. I sealed them all up. So I don't think it's that. I think it's the cold air coming in through the door. So this is going to help no end. That was extremely cold, very wet and slightly shocking, but very funny. Right. God, definitely wetter than I was. Right, okay. I can already tell this this thicker bubble wrap, or this bubble wrap with the bigger bulbs, is already going to be a lot more insulative than the stuff that I'm currently using. So I'm definitely going to, what I figure is if I buy the bubble wrap in the middle of summer, in theory it should be cheaper, in theory. But you want the horticultural grade stuff because it's UV stabilised, which means it's not going to perish and fall apart and go brittle when it is sunny, because it's still getting pretty sunny during the day here. If I have a quick look at what we got up to today, about 28 degrees centigrade we got up to today in here, so it's still getting nice and warm, which is really good. And at that point, both the heaters are thermostatically controlled, so the heaters are off anyway. So it's just it's getting solar. It's managing to obtain some heat, you know, from solar energy, which is really, really good. And it means cheaper because I'm not having to heat it during the day. I don't heat it excessively. I let it get up to about, well, I mean the heaters turns off at about 19 degrees centigrade. So in reality the greenhouse gets to about 20, 21 degrees centigrade during the day in here. So I didn't really, I mean, those growers out there that have a hot house where, you know, it's not being allowed to drop below sort of 20 degrees day and night, God knows how much money that must cost. It must be extortionate. It drops to 14 degrees in here at night. It's 14.8 in here at the moment, which compared to outside is a massive difference. When I finish doing this video, I'll take you outside and have a look at the state of the grass. It's like proper crunchy. Just a few more. Right, I've still got a few alley plugs left over. I'm just going to fill any of the gaps in where I can potentially see any air getting in behind it. I'll move you down over here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Okay, so these, you won't really see it here because it's behind the canner, but these sort of slot into the grooves and they just twist and they just hold it there. So all I'm doing is just using those to hold the plastic sheeting against the glass, or against the alley frame of the greenhouse. Okay, I guess the only other thing I need to do really is to trim it to shape. I want to leave a considerable sort of fringe again down here at the bottom, so that I can, I don't know, it's almost worth sewing some curtain weights on it just to hold it down, keep it in place, because it's not going to be that easy keeping it there like that, and also getting in and out of the greenhouse. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just trying to cut it to shape a little bit really. So I'm going to leave sort of 6 inches on this side so there's a bit of a flap to retain it, and I'm just literally just going to cut up the side so it's a bit of a decent fit. I'm going to trim up along the bottom, and then what I do when I come in and out of the greenhouse, I'm going to have to open the slidey door, then sort of reach round, unplug one of the alley plugs, and then sort of crouch to get into the greenhouse. But if it means I'm going to save money, it's a minor inconvenience really for saving what could potentially be a very expensive hobby, especially with we're not even in December. It's the 1st of December tomorrow, so we've still got 3 months of winter basically, so that's still a lot of time to have a heater going in the greenhouse. Okay, so that's the side taken off. So I've left a little bit of a flap there just to make it, I don't know really why, but it just seems like a bit more overlap. It's more likely to have a better chance of making a good seal across the edge here, even with just the alley plugs holding it down. So what I'll do now is just trim the bottom off. Okay, so once again what I've done is I've left about 6 inches of excess material. I don't know whether you're going to see that. There's about 6 inches of excess material here, and what I'll do is a long piece of wood would be quite good at this, because what I could then do is, as I exit the greenhouse, is just put something over it just to hold it in tight in here like this, just to get rid of some of that gap. I was thinking about putting underneath the slab here, but I think it's still going to restrict getting in and out of the greenhouse. It's going to be a pain in the backside. So I've rethought that, and I think that's a very good idea. So yeah, I'm a bit of a quandary. So yeah, I'd appreciate some help really. Seems like a really trivial thing to be sort of asking, but let's draw on the hive mind of other orchid growers. So if you have any other ideas, don't forget to leave a comment down below. That's pretty much it for this video, although what I will do is I will quickly show you what it looks like outside, because it is cold. Okay, so here we are outside the greenhouse. That's the work light in there, which is why it looks like it's glowing from the inside. It literally is. And if we look down at the grass, you can see how, I don't know whether the camera picked up, everything's gone white, it's super frosty. It's making a lovely crunching sound under my feet when I walk around. And if I pick you up, we can have a look at my wall thermometer to show you what temperature we're at the moment. What's that, -3, -4.5, I think, something like that. So you can see how cold it is out here. It's absolutely freezing. Absolutely freezing. There we go. Remember, if you like these videos and you want to see more that's going on in the greenhouse, what I'm up to, don't forget to give us a like, hit the thumbs up button down below, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.